Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Monday, which means it's time for a 5x5. Now, this is where I take 5 subjects related to magic. I spend 5 minutes talking about each subject and I move on to the next subject. It's always quick, it's always snappy. You never know what you're going to get. And today, you know exactly what you're going to get because I am back with another performer spotlight. Now, if you don't know what the performer spotlight is, the idea is very simple. I take somebody and I get them to perform 5 tricks to me, and then I talk about why those are such a good trick to include in their act. And normally when I do this, I have people sit down in this office, or I get people to sit opposite me and I film them in a close-up style environment. But today we're doing something a little bit different, and the reason is I have just come back from the House of Secrets in Blackpool. Now, if you don't know what the House of Secrets is in Blackpool, it is owned by Russ Brown, and it is Blackpool's #1 magic venue, and if not the best magic venue in the north. I am a huge fan of the House of Secrets. I'm a huge fan of Russ Brown. It's one of my favorite places to visit, period. One of the reasons I love it so much is because Russ is such an incredible performer. If you don't know who Russ Brown is, you should go check out his interview on Talk Magic. He has done more in this industry than most people will have by the end of their career. He has been a resident performer on so many different places in Blackpool, the Blackpool Tower, the Windsor Garden, the list goes on and on and on. He's literally been the man when it comes to magic. He's also an incredible producer of magic. He's worked backstage on Russ Stevens' show. He worked for many years on the on Britain's Got Talent. He's overseen some of the best acts in Britain's Got Talent. He's one of the co-organisers of the Blackpool Magic Convention. When you see all of the incredible shows that take place at the Blackpool Magic Convention, he's normally the one behind the scenes, teching everything and making sure everything runs smoothly. And as well as all of that, he supplies acts all over the world to various different venues. He performs almost daily. And on top of all of that, he owns the House of Secrets. Now, the House of Secrets opened a couple of years ago. And in a couple of years' time, it has gone from strength to strength. It's a very small, intimate venue. When it's full, it only can hold like 50 or 60 people. But the House of Secrets is an incredible place. It really is. It's designed specifically for magic. It's got very much a speakeasy style vibe to it. So people come in and then the shutters go down, the blinds go down, and they watch a show. He has some of the best magicians in the world go there on a regular basis and perform their show. And Ryland is one of the resident house magicians there. Now, what that means is that Ryland is at the House of Secrets most days, most weeks, performing magic and performing his full show. I filmed this on the Monday. He's just come back from a week at the House of Secrets. Rye was performing every night with Russ as part of Russ's kind of guest star in his Halloween show. Plus he was doing his own show there, 235 minutes in his own show. Plus he was Russ had organised him to perform at the Tower Circus for like 1,500 people, which Russ also does all the entertainment for. Like, the guy is connected, right? And he is also one of the best family entertainers in the world. That's what the House of Secrets is. It's a family entertainment bar. So they do family magic shows, right? And there's nobody who does it better. I genuinely believe there is nobody who does it better than Russ Brown. So I took the opportunity of filming 5 of the routines that Russ did in his show and got at the House of Secrets and got his permission to basically go through them here on this performer special. So on this performer special, you're going to see 5 tricks from Russ's Halloween show. And you're going to see 5 tricks, you're going to see 5 routines, and I'm going to talk about why these are so good. I'm telling you right now, if you are a family entertainer, if you have any aspiration or desire to be a family entertainer, this video is worth its weight in gold. It's very unusual to have a top pro like Russ freely give his routines out so that they can be seen on the internet. and you're going to see why I hold them in such high regard. So we're going to start off with the first trick. Now, this is one that Russ teaches in his lectures. He's got lots of different versions of this. This is the Halloween version, and this is what he uses right at the very beginning of his show. Russ is a very high energy style performer, but also infuses storytelling into madcap zaniness and comedy, and you're going to see that right here. This is how he gets the energy up right at the very beginning of the show. Let's have a look at it. So this is a routine with 6 cards. That's it. But look at how much magic he gets from it.
Listen, if you've never seen me before, I'm Russ Brown. This is the House of Secrets, and I always have to do something at the start to try and wake you all up, which I don't think I'm going to need tonight. And tonight, because it's Halloween time, we are going to change it around a bit. This is what we want from you all, okay? We want certain noises and reactions to do with Halloween. Some the kids, some the adults. We're going to start with one of these. At Halloween, you may see one of them, a werewolf, okay? So when I do that, I want everybody in the room, including the adults, to give me a werewolf sound. Are you ready? Steady. Give me a werewolf sound. Go! Well, that's good. Go on, we'll do that again. Give us a werewolf sound. That is good. We have got some good whoas in here. That sounds bad, actually. I'm going to stop. Right. Just to say, you know what I mean, right? You know what I mean. Give us a werewolf sound. At some point at Halloween, you're going to scare people, and you can scare them by shouting boo. Okay, so give us a boo. Ready, steady. Give us a boo. Yeah, no, not boo. Not like boo. It's not the Jeremy Kyle show. Is it? Just boo. Are you ready, steady? Give me a boo. Give me a boo. This is good. We've been having fun tonight. You lot are going to be here. I don't actually need this tonight. At some point, you may see at Halloween a scary monster. So when I do that, I want to see scary monster faces. Ready, steady, go! That's good. That's it. This is excellent. I'm not saying anything else. I'm not saying anything else. Give me a scary monster face. Go! It's going to be fun tonight. This is the thing that I hate at Halloween more than anything, spiders. If I see one, I point at it and I go, spider! My daughter Florence, if she sees one, she won't even go in the room. So I want you to pretend you've seen a spider on there, point at it and shout spider. Give me a spider, go! You're not thrilled, go on, do it again! I quite like it that once or twice there's people in here who didn't realise this was a kid's show. Are you ready? Give us a spider, go! Brilliant. This is the noisy one. So, we're going to split this one up. When I do this one, I want all the children in the screen to give me a scream, and all the adults, I want to see you lot banging on the floor. With your feet, with your feet. Are you ready? Ready, steady, go! We're going to get complaints from next door again. And the final one is this. At Halloween, you're going to see ghosties and ghoulies. So when I do this, I want to see your ghosties. Right. Ready, steady, go! Right, I better do a trick. I'm just messing around. This is just to wake you up, which you didn't actually need tonight. We have got 6 cards there, and every single one of these cards has got a different thing to do with Halloween on it. And somebody, you, is going to choose one. What's your name? Right, this is what I want you to do. 6 cards, so tell me a number between 1 and 6. Go! Yeah. Where's he from? Oh, right, fair enough. That explains a lot. Right. Between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 6. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Which one are you going for? Number 6. Are you sure? You don't want to change your mind or anything like that, okay? Because you can if you want. You'll mess my trick up. Are you sure? Okay, this is what we're going to do. Everybody count to 6. Are you ready? So that's 1, and that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, and that is 6, okay? And that lands us back at the start. And now somebody else is going to choose one, so it's going to mix it up even more. So you're going to tell me a number between 1 and 6. Go. Number 3, okay? So everybody count again. Are you ready? That's 1, that's 2, and that is number 3. And one more person's going to give us a number. What are you going to say? 1, 5, okay, so everybody count to 5. That's 1, that's 2, 3, 4, and 5, okay? After all that massive mixing up, we are left on a random word that I am not even going to look at. I am just going to do that, and you're going to do whatever it is. Are you ready, steady? So do whatever it is. Go! I I don't know if this side's good or this side's good. It might be this side. This side. This side. This side. This side. Just you. That's what that means. You said a number, you said a number, you said a number. We completely mixed these up. We got random numbers until we were left on something, which is the word scream. But the weird bit is the back. What's it say on the back? It says... I knew you would choose scream. Which is exactly what you did. And normally that gets everybody to clap.
That's like a 6-minute routine, right? And all it is somebody picking a number from 1 to 6. It reminds me a little bit of the David Jonathan Nicholas Mavresis trick that came out with ESP symbols, where they had someone name an ESP symbol and you turn the other cards over and it says you will pick the circle or whatever. This is kind of a similar sort of thing, but it's obviously using words instead of ESP symbols. Now, I've seen Russ use this. This is Russ's opening routine. Not all the time, but a lot of the time this is Russ's opening routine. And he's got lots of different versions of this. He's got a Christmas version. He's got a version he does like as part of his normal show. This is the Halloween version. It's great to have a routine like this that really does become really adaptable for any scenario. You know, when you're doing family shows and kid shows, a lot of the time people are going to say, hey, can you adapt it to this theme? Can you fit it to this theme? Having something like this that you can literally do that with very, very easily, it's worth its weight in gold. Now, there's a couple of things I want you to see when you looked at the performance. Hopefully you've just seen the performance. There's a couple of things I want to point out. The first is, and you're going to see this over and over again, Russ's choice of music. There is no point in Russ's show where music is not playing. As he transitions from one routine to the next routine, different tracks come on. He's using audio ape. He's got the remote control in his pocket. He's switching from one routine to another routine. And as he does, the music fades in and fades out. I don't think there's a single trick he does in his show that is just done to music where he's not speaking, but the use of the music over his patter and over his presentation really elevates everything to the next level. And I know that a lot of performers that work on stage, they say to me, hey, how can I take my performance to the next level? I'm a kid show performer. I want to perform for family audiences. How do I do that? Well, the use of music is a big way to do that. Making sure that there's music playing the whole time really sets a scene. And this is a perfect example. I don't think this trick would be as good if it wasn't for the music that was playing as he's performing it. Second of all, look at how interactive this is. This is an opening routine for a reason. And the reason is he wants to grab everyone's attention. He's got a lot of people in there. There were about 50 or 60 people in the bar that night. He's got a lot of kids. He's got a lot of adults. He's got a lot of people in that room. He wants to grab all their attention. Well, the best way to do that is by, you know, being as interactive as possible. And one way to do that is getting them to shout out. But notice he's peppering his performance with jokes for the adults as well. Like, hey, this is about ghosts and ghoulies. I want to see your ghosts. You know, stuff like that, that really kind of, it hits for the adults, but it goes over the kids' heads. That's, for me, when you know that you've made it as a family entertainer. You know, you're putting stuff in there that the adults will appreciate, but it doesn't affect the enjoyment of the kids. I see a lot of people and they try to be edgy in a family show and they end up being too edgy and they're putting content in that just doesn't work for a kid show. This is not that case. This is not the case here. He's putting stuff into this show that adults will appreciate, but it's not taken away from the fact that the kids are there watching either. But the whole thing is super interactive. And it's also a pretty damn good trick. You know, they name any number and he just deals. And when he does, he gets that number and it's 100% correct. I mean, what's not to love? That's a really, really, really strong bit and gets a great reaction from the audience. If you're looking for a really strong opener, you know, a lot of people think that with an opening, you have to be super visual. And that's one way of doing it. That's how Ryland does it. You know, his opener a lot of the time when he's doing a show like this is the flying linking rings. He walks out and he, you know, he's got the music playing and he does the flying linking rings. Nothing wrong with that at all. No problem with that at all. That's absolutely fine. But this is another way of doing it. And it's a great way of doing it. And it works really well. So we're going to go from that. We're going to look at another routine. And again, I'm not going to keep saying it, but I want you to watch the musicality or listen to the musicality that you're going to hear as you watch this routine. He's going to do liquid metal. Morgan Striebler's liquid metal, using, just standard forks. As you know, Alakazam now have the rights to the liquid forks, and, a lot of people do liquid metal close up. You're going to see an example of how you can do liquid metal in a stage show, to a family audience. This is really an awesome way of doing it, and there's a lot we can learn. So let's have a look at this.
True. So, in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, there was this guy that was on telly all the time. He's still going, and he's still on telly a lot, and he's still in the papers, and he was a psychic phenomenon. He could read the future. He could tell you what dead people were saying. He could stare at metal and make it bend. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Uri Geller. So Uri Geller is still going, all right? He has got a museum in Israel. And I'm going to tell you a really strange story, which is all true. Through a series of very, very, very weird events, me and Yuri got to know each other. Not only did we get to know each other, we become quite good friends. And 4 years ago, we came to Blackpool. He did a talk to thousands of magicians, which took me ages to convince him to do. And during that time, we went for something to eat. And we went for a drink to a little cafe just down the road called Hive. And when we were sat in there, he suddenly went to me, "Can you bend a spoon or a fork like me?" And I went, "No." And he went, "Have you ever tried to bend a spoon or a fork with your mind?" And I went, "No." And he was like, "Have you ever seen it done?" And I said, "No." And as I said that, I looked down at the table. And when I looked down at the table, I realised something. On the table, every single spoon, every single fork, every single knife, everything was bent. Everything. Some of it twisted. And I swear he didn't touch it. And ever since then, I've been able to do something really, really strange. Loads of folks from B&M Bargains. What's your name just there? Come here, Tamar. Give Tamar a big round of applause. You'll be perfect with this, Tamar. Loads of folks, genuinely from B&M Bargains. Going to stand here, Tamar. I'm going to turn around, pick a fork, any fork you want. Have you got one? Yeah, good. Remember it. Remember it. Show it everybody else. Everyone remember it. Shuffle them. Shuffle them. You're taking this a bit serious now. That'd be rubbish. Just pick a fork. That one. Check it's real by doing this. Smack it. Go on, smack it. You don't want to get in trouble, you. I tell you. Look at that. Doesn't bend or anything. Yeah? It's alright. Got a B&M bargain fork. This is what you're going to do. You're going to take this pencil, this pen. Be careful, it's Sharpie. Put your initials there. This way I can't swap it. On that bit there, on the long stem, put the password to your PayPal account. Just put your signature. Yeah, that'll do. And then once you've done that, bang it on the table. Make sure it's solid. Solid fork? Yeah? Nothing weird about it? Good. We're going to signature there. We're going to say your initials there. Come and stand here for me a second and watch carefully. You will see this happen. Watch the fork. Watch the prongs. Really slowly when it moves, and it goes further and further and further. You end up with that bend. Check it doesn't bend back. Don't cut yourself. It's pretty solid, isn't it? Sit yourself back down now, Tamar. Give her a big round of applause. So that's what I learned from Yuri. Bending it with your mind, but there is another way that you can bend it. Instead of using your mind, you can use booze. If you've had a couple of drinks, when you blow on it, it actually bends it. And if you don't believe me, he's going to blow on it. And he's had a couple of pints of Peroni. What's your name? Okay, Andy, from there, blow the fork. Ready? Blow. You see what I mean? It's like a breathalyzer. These big bends are a pain, you can't get them out. Can you help me just a second? Come back here. You're going to try and get this bend out with me, okay? So we're going to straighten it back out, like that. Hold your hand out like this for me. Close your hand. I'm going to push this through your, not through your hand, I'm going to push it. That bit will get warm. If it gets really hot, that's normal. If it sets on fire, drop it. Right? That's not going to happen twice this week. Right, you ready? Watch your top. Watch your top. Push. Feel the top moving. It's not bending. It's twisting.
No way.
really slowly, it twists like that. A real corkscrew in the middle of the fork. Just check it doesn't untwist or anything like that. It's pretty solid, isn't it? Yeah? You can sit yourself back down. Give him a big round of applause.
Okay, again, like I say, the musicality. Listen to the musicality. But as well as that, notice how he's getting lots of people up. He's getting people to come up on stage, do something, go back down, get somebody else on stage, go back down, get the first person back on stage, go back down. You know, one of the most important things when you're performing a show is that you get people involved. You're bringing people up to the front. This is one routine where he's bringing 2 people up, but you could very easily have brought 3 people up if you wanted to. It's a perfect example of how you can take something that a lot of people consider to be a close-up trick and you can make it play really, really big to a really big audience. You know, there's like 50 or 60 people in that room that night, and the people at the back of the room, could they see the bends? Probably not as well as the people that were at the front. But does it matter? No, because the reaction of the person on stage is selling it to the rest of the audience. They're reacting because they're seeing everyone else react, and they're seeing the person on stage reacting as well. And that's a really important consideration. Like, this is the perfect trick to do in a family show. And to be honest, I've never thought about doing liquid metal as part of a family show or a kid's show. I've done it in corporates, I've done it in parlor shows, I've done it in close-up, but you better be sure, I'm definitely going to be doing this in my next kid show, my next family show, because you can see the reaction it gets from the audience. It gets a super strong reaction, as it should. It really, really should. So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to say about this. This is Morgan Striebler's Liquid Metal, but it just shows, you know, I talk on this channel all the time about how you make tricks your own. This is an example of how you take a trick that somebody else does and you make it your own, and you make it special, and you make it unique to you, and you make it fit the audience in which you're performing for. Very important. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the finale of the first half. The finale of the first half was an illusion, not just any illusion, one of my favourite illusions of all time, modern art. If you haven't seen modern art before, you're about to see Russ Stevens. Wrong Russ. You're about to see Russ Brown perform modern art. And honestly, if you're wanting to get into illusions, this is something that you absolutely need to pay attention to.
To end the first half of the show, because you've been listening to us for nearly 35 minutes now, do you want something really weird? So I'm going to give you something weird that's got a little bit of a story behind it. I'm going to need somebody to help me in a second. And it is going to be one of the adults. I will explain why. Because, who's been to Blackpool before? Right. I don't think there's anyone in this room that's actually old enough to know what I'm talking about. But years and years and years ago in Blackpool, where Funland is, where Mr. B's is, opposite Central Pier, all of that area was actually known as the Freak Show. Does anybody know about it? So the Freak Show was amazing. You could see amazing things. You could see this. Genuine picture. Harold Hughes, who was claimed to be the fattest man in the entire world. And you could see him live. You could pay to go into a room and see him. You could see this. A tattooed lady. You could see a woman that was covered head to toe in real tattoos. And you could also see this. The bearded lady. This was an old woman who had a real beard on her face. Now, many, many years ago, you could pay to see these things in Blackpool, and now it's free. Just bought down the prom. Hundreds of them. However, they were the famous ones. The bearded lady's the famous Freak Show. But the one that pulled the crowds was this one, the half lady. And she was that. She was real. She was a real person. But only the top half of her actually existed. I would love to show you a real half lady because it's incredible. There isn't many in the world, but I'm going to do you the next best thing. We are going to make one. We are going to make a half lady, and the half lady tonight is actually going to be my daughter Florence. So let's have a big round of applause for Florence. This is something that you normally see on a big stage. You would never normally see this close. And for one person, I'm going to let you get closer than anybody else. What's your name? Come here a second, Karen. Give Karen a big round of applause. Karen, I want you to check something out. You're not going to have to get in the box, but have a look inside the box. Yeah, you can see Florence fits inside there. Yeah, and we're going to lock her in just like this. Now, when you see these things, people always go, well, it's really good, but it's a fake hand or it's a fake foot or something like that. You're going to prove that it's not. Have a check of her face. Is that a real face? Have a feel of a hand. Is that a real hand? Have a feel of her feet. Real feet? Good. This is what we need to be able to do this. We need one of these. We need a knife, okay? If you watch carefully, Karen, I'm going to put that there. Come and have a look. You can see it goes there to there, all the way through. Yeah? Come down the back and come over here a second. That's it, sorry. I want you to put one hand there and one hand there. Okay? Don't do anything until I tell you. I'm going to put one hand here and one hand here. We have got a knife right there. When I say 3, you push and I pull straight over that knife into 2 pieces, making a half lady. You ready to go? Florence, are you ready to go? Yep. Okay. Don't do anything until I tell you, okay? I'm going to put one hand here, one hand here. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. Give it a push. I'll give it a pull. Perfect. And that's knocked it into 2 pieces. Give it a big round of applause. Now, this all looks really, really cool. But people always think the same thing. They think, well, it is good, but it's fake. But it's not. Go and check her face. You can poke her if you want in the nose. Real face? Check her hand. Is it a real hand? Now, this is the one that freaks everybody out because I think that's obviously the fake bit. Check the feet. Are they real feet? They're still Florence's feet. You can see yourself back down now. Give Karen a big round of applause. And while you're clapping, please keep that applause going for Florence, the amazing half lady. As cool as this looks, that you just look cool. We can't keep her like this. We can't keep her like this because my wife will go mental. So we have to get her back to the start. And the only way to get back to the start is to literally reverse everything that you see. Hold really still, Florence. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Back through the knife. Back to the other side. Straight out the side. And we have got her back in one piece. Let's have a big round of applause, please, for Florence, the amazing half lady.
Okay, so that was modern art, and there's a few things that I want to point out here. The first thing is, he's inches away from the audience, and yet he's performing an illusion and blowing everybody's mind. A lot of people think that you have to be on a big stage in order to perform illusions. That's not the case. This is one of the smallest stages you can perform on, and Russ is still doing big illusions on that stage. That's the first thing to consider. The second thing to consider is storytelling. Notice a lot of the time with illusions, and I do this to be perfectly honest, a lot of the time with illusions, it's like, right, we're going to do another illusion. Let's do this. And the music hits and you're doing all of the stuff and whatever it may be. And it's just eye candy. It's nice. You watch it for 5 minutes, you switch off and yeah, it's wonderful. But the way that Russ has built storytelling into this trick is something really special. Like the way that he knows that a lot of people that come into his venue are going to be on holiday. They're coming to Blackpool. They're going to be on holiday. So he talks about the history of Blackpool. He talks about how, you can see various different circus freaks from years gone by. I love the little jokes he puts in there. You can see these things for free now. They're on the pier. It's funny, but it's interesting. It's almost like pulling a curtain back on this type of magic that people haven't seen before. But then that's the perfect lead-in for him to do this illusion. It makes more sense doing it that way. There's a reason for putting this girl in the box and sawing her in half. There's a reason for doing that. You're not just doing it because of doing its sake. The story sets the scene, and now there's a reason for absolutely everything. I also love the fact, and I saw Paul Daniels do this. I don't see many illusionists do this, but I saw Paul Daniels do this quite a lot, which is he's not presenting the illusion as a typical illusionist. He's not doing it high energy to music and running around and stuff. He's not doing that. He's taking his time over it. It's like, hey, check this, check this, check this, check this. Right, you're going to hold here. You're going to do this. He's talking and narrating over the actual performance of the illusion, and I think that's a great way to actually go. If you're going to do illusions, if you're going to be an illusionist, having that approach, not to every illusion, but to, maybe a couple of illusions in your show, having that approach where you're not actually doing it as a high energy kind of piece, and instead you're kind of going into it by having someone come up on stage and you're doing, I think that's a great way to perform an illusion. I really do. And the reaction of the audience at the end, they were completely blown away, as they should be. Modern art is an amazing illusion. If you've not seen it before, damn, it's good. And You know, I've got one and I haven't used it in a long time. And I watched Russ doing it. And I'm like, why have I not done this in ages? This is such a really good illusion. So yeah, I mean, if you're planning on putting bigger effects in your show, if you're wanting to put illusions into your show, then this was a masterclass in how to do it in a unique way that really adds value to the show. What a great way to finish the first half. You know, you always talk about how you finish the first half going into the interval big. That's what he did here. Now, the second half of the show, and I might do another one of these 5x5s in the future. Obviously, there's just 5 performances in this one. I might do another one in the future. But the second half was very, very different. The second half was all about sort of gambling and scams and so on and so forth. And you're about to see a routine that took place about halfway through the second half. And what a routine it is. What a routine it is. By golly, this routine is really good. It's basically Gypsy Curse by Peter Kane. But Russ is showing you right here how you can take a simple packet trick and turn it into a work of art. Let's have a look.
Corporation Pop. I'm going to be serious for a second. That game, if you do see it, please don't play it, because you'll just lose your money. You've absolutely no chance of winning. Don't even go near the crowd. The crowd will be full of pickpockets. However, that is not the most famous game going. The most famous game going and the biggest scam ever was called Find the Lady. Does anybody know that one? 3-card trick. So Find the Lady was invented in the 1500s by a little Spanish man called Mr. Lever. He was one of the biggest scammers in the world, was Mr. Lever. And he used to go from town to town, from place to place, ripping people off. He had 7 really old cards, and all you had to do was guess where the red one was. Now, despite the fact that he spent his entire life playing that game, scamming people, when he died, he was found in the street with no friends, no money, no family, no clothes. He had nothing. He lost the clothes off his back because those cards that he had were said to have a curse on them. Now, after his death, those cards that were found in his dead hand vanished until 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, some very, very old cards appeared at an auction house in London. I'm going to let you lot decide whether these are the originals. I'm going to let you lot decide whether this is all true. But I'm going to show you the game. I'm going to show you the curse. It's really simple. It uses 1, 2, 3 black cards. There is 1 red card and only 1 red card, and 1, 2, 3 black cards. The game's easy. Some cards are on the table. Some cards are in my hand. All you've got to do is guess where the red one is. Now, one day we were playing this game, and an old lady came up to play, and she put down a coin made of gold, worth more than he had ever seen, and he usually couldn't afford to play, but he still scammed her. How many people in this room will be scammed? I'm going to ask you what he asked her. Where is the red card? Is it on the table or in my hand? Where is it? You all saw it in my hand, but when they had a look in his hand, there was 1, 2, 3, 4 black cards. The red card was there a second ago, but it just melted away, and she knew she'd been scammed, so she grabbed her coin, and as she grabbed her coin, he crushed her bony little fingers, took the coin, and ran. And as he ran away with her money, she screamed at him, "You scammed me, so I curse you, and I curse those cards." This is the curse that we'll put on him. Watch really carefully. That is a black card. That is a black card. When he went to the next sound and said, "Where's the red card?" and the pointed there, that black card turned red. 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 Any card that was pointed at turned itself from the loser into the winner, and that's why in life you should really be careful who you play cards with.
Okay, so what you just saw there is Gypsy Curse. You know, if you've not seen that before, this is Peter Kane's Gypsy Curse. It's a fantastic trick. You can get it from all good magic dealers. What I learned from watching that is how you can take a packet trick, in essence, and using a camera so it's projected up on screen, as well as music and telling an interesting story, you combine all of that together and it becomes way more than a typical packet trick. I'm telling you, you could do a normal wildcard routine to that audience and not have the music and not have the story, and it get a decent reaction. But it would never get a reaction like Russ got for this particular trick. You could do Gypsy Curse and perform in a close-up setting and put the story in there, but without the music and without the, without all the production value, I don't think it's ever going to get a reaction like this trick did. And this wasn't a one-off like reaction. This wasn't like, oh, he got lucky this night. I saw him do this whole act probably 5 times over the course of the week that I've just spent at the House of Secrets in Ryland. And every single time, the Gypsy Curse routine got one of the strongest reactions. And it just shows, when people transition from doing close-up magic to stage shows, whether that be a corporate show, a family show, a kid show, whatever it may be, when people take that leap and they transition, a lot of the time they think they need to buy brand new material. Right, okay, I'm going to be performing a family show now. I need brand new material. I need stuff that you can see from a mile off. And that's not always the case, because sometimes you don't. Sometimes you don't need that. Sometimes all you need, literally, all you need is a packet trick. And it just shows that you can, but it fit with the rest of the show. The whole second half was about scams, and this followed the endless chain, which followed another scam, which followed another scam. And this just fit perfectly. The story that transitioned into this routine and the way that Russ delivered it fit absolutely perfectly in the context of a show. And although this is in a Halloween show, and I can see why it's in a Halloween show, you could very easily do this outside of Halloween for sure. This is probably the best, no, not probably, this is definitely the best performance of the Gypsy Curse that I've ever seen. So, we've got one final thing to look at. And the final thing is my favourite trick of the show. And I asked Russ about this later on. After watching the first show, I asked him about it. And he told me, and I'll tell you in a minute. But first of all, he finished his show off. This is the final trick of the final, this is the final trick of the second half. It's what he closed the show on. And it's another illusion. It's the girl through mirror. Let's have a look.
Excellent. Okay, come and stand there for me, Archie. And how old are you, Archie? 7, and where do you live?
Huddersfield.
In Huddersfield! Woohoo! Excellent. Archie, I've just noticed you got some nice shoes on. Can you take your shoes off for me a second? Just because of what we're about to do. Otherwise, it'll get a bit of a pain, all right? Let's have a look. And that one as well. What do you say your name was? It says George in there. Hey! What's the joke? Archie, this is what we're going to do. It starts off a little bit weird, this, and it gets weirder as we go along. Using these things, okay? What I'm going to do, come here a second. It's a little frame, and there's a little bit of lycra in the middle of it. What I want you to do is take that hand, watch, and go through there, like that. That's it. And back out. Put it in again. And out. And in again. And out. Now with your foot. That's why I got you to take your shoes off. Push it all the way through. Ready? Go. That's not your foot. Right? Try that one. Your foot. Push it through. That's it. All the way, all the way. Right out to the other side. That's it. Right out, right out, right out. Yes! And back out again. Now your head. Perfect. We've got another one over here. There's 2. This isn't a spare. These 2 fit together, and this is the trick. All of you is going to go through here. You've got to do it how I say, or you will get stuck, all right? This is how. You start with that hand. Push it all the way through, and hold it there. So go right through, right through, right through. That's it. And I'm going to hold on to your wrist. I want you to put your foot through now. Put your foot through. That's it. Go on, go on, go on. Now put your head through and put all your body through. Go straight through the middle. That's it. Go on, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You walk through, stand there, look that way, take a bow. Everyone will clap and cheer. And go mental. Yes! Oh, come on, louder than that. Woohoo! Yay! Magic. How's that magic? Do you not know what happened? When you went through there, you've gone back in time. You're in the 70s. And if you don't believe me, look how he's dressed. You're thinking the same. You're thinking, this has been really good, and he's ending the show with this. This is rubbish. You are going to walk through that again, Archie, but you are going to be completely freaked out when you do. But before we can do it, I have to give you a history lesson. Come and stand there. Look at that screen. Does anybody know what that is? Pleasure Beach. Does anybody know what that building is? The fun house. Blackpool Pleasure Beach used to have a fun house. It was absolutely awesome. That was inside the fun house, a big wheel inside the building. It was absolutely huge. They had all sorts of weird and wonderful things. They had slide. Oh, that was brilliant, that, Archie. You went on that and he spun you around and he went faster and faster and faster, and then he went so fast you fell off the edge and broke your arm. That fun house was destroyed in a terrible fire in 1990, along with everything inside. Apart from one thing, something survived the fire, and that was the Hall of Mirrors. The Hall of Mirrors, the original mirrors, still exist. They are on a ride called Impossible at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. All of them, come on, stand over there a second, Archie, exist, but one of them is here. This mirror survived that fire. Come here, Archie, give it a tap like that. Check it's real. Is it solid? Yeah, Debbie, I might need a hand spinning this round. Normally, if you see this trick, you don't get to see the back, but I don't care. I'm going to show you the back as well. Archie, come on over. Smack it. Is that a solid mirror? There's no trapdoors or anything. I won't let you look if he was. A few seconds ago, we walked through this. He's going to walk through it again, but when he does, something's in the middle. Watch. Come and stand there, Archie. As I spin this back, look for things. Look for reflections. Your reflection. A friend's reflection, so that you know this is a real, solid mirror. Archie. A cloth that nobody's touched. Take the cloth. Hold it in the air. Screw it into a ball. Go to the middle of the mirror and clean your fingerprints off. Look, covered it. Now I'm joking. Right, let's do it. This is going to go in the middle. You can see around it at all time. Archie, you're going to have a dress rehearsal. This is what happens. You put your hand out, I hold your wrist, you put your feet of your foot through, and you step down. You are going to do that round the back of that mirror. We definitely get yourself round there. If you're with him, get a camera ready. You will never get a picture as cool as this ever again. Everybody look carefully. You can see every single part of that mirror. On the count of 3, Archie, you're going to push your hand straight through that mirror. Are you ready? That's 1. Hold still. That's 2. That's 3. Push your hand through. Go. That's it. Now your foot. Push it through. Push it through. Push it through. Push it through. Now your head and your body. Walk straight through the centre of a solid mirror. Okay? Stand there. Look that way. Take a bow. Everyone will clap, scream, cheer, and go absolutely mad. Take a bow. Take a bow. Take a bow. Take a bow.
So first of all, what we talked about with the previous illusion, modern art, we can also refer to this and say exactly the same thing. The music choices were brilliant, inspired in actual fact, but the presentation and the lead into it, people were hooked before he even started introducing the props. And the reason they were is because the story that he gave, so believable. People were just like buying into this story. And I didn't ask him, I'm assuming it's not true, but people were believing that it was true. But what a great way to introduce a mirror. What a great way to introduce a mirror, by talking about Blackpool and talking about real events and the fire of the fun house. And, you know, it's interesting, but it's knowing your audience as well. You know, the people that have come to this event, they're people that are tourists in Blackpool. They're going to find this stuff interesting. They've probably been to the site of where the fun house was. They've probably been to various different tourist attractions around Blackpool. So the fact that he's tying all of this together and giving a reason for this mirror, as opposed to just bringing it out and saying, right, let's do a trick with a mirror. The transition and the hook line into this was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Now, the other thing to consider, and the other thing to take into consideration, as well as the music, as well as the transition, as well as the hook, as well as the story, is this is one of the best goddamn illusions I've ever seen. And he told me that only 2 have been made, and it used to be in Russ Stevens' show, and he's got one, and the other one I think is with somebody Who did? I think it was Christian Fowler, he said. But there's only 2 of these made. They got made by Guy Barrett. Guy's not making any more of them. I think this is one of the most interactive tricks I've ever seen. I saw him do this every single night when I was at the House of Secrets. And the last night he did it to a 4-year-old girl. And the reaction, look, when you can get a kid from the audience involved in an illusion, I mean, that's just going to take it to the next level. I do the flying carpet in my kids show, and I get the kids sat on the flying carpet and make her float in the air, and that always gets a good reaction because it's the kid doing it themselves. But this is taking it to the next level. This is the kid walking through a mirror, and because of the method behind it, they don't even realize how it works. From their point of view, they are literally walking through a mirror. You know, you could very easily put something like this together but expose the illusion, but Russ isn't doing that. He's not exposing anything. From the kid's point of view, they've just walked through a bloody mirror. From the audience's point of view, that kid has just walked through a bloody mirror. I mean, what a strong moment. What an incredibly strong moment when that kid walks through that mirror and the entire audience sees them walk through. My gosh, it brings the house down. And the thing I think that we should all learn from this is not about the trick and not about how good the trick or the illusion is. It's about why the trick is so good. And yeah, it's a great trick in its own right. But it's about the routine. It's about, you know, you could get a million other people that would buy this illusion and they would have an assistant walk through the mirror. And it would have, or they would walk through the mirror. But what Russ has done is he's put the power into a kid's hands. And honestly, this is the sort of thing that is a reputation maker as far as I'm concerned. You combine everything. You combine the musicality, you combine the story, the hook line, the transition, the whole presentation as a whole. And I'm telling you right now, you can't follow this. No wonder it's his closer. You're not going to be able to follow this. It's impossible. It's the final trick I wanted to talk about, and it's my favourite. I think this is absolutely amazing. So there you go, guys. That's another 5x5, slightly different this one. 5x5 performer special. Now, if you have never seen Russ Brown before and you want to see more about him, then you can go check out the Talk Magic. I did a Talk Magic interview with Russ Brown a little while ago, and it's an incredible interview. So you can go check that out. And don't forget, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Now, you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back again tomorrow at 6 o'clock with another Magic Live. It's not a Magic Live, isn't it? I'm going mad. It's a 5x5. Been a long day. I'll be back next Monday with another 5x5. In the meantime, if you haven't already done so and you want to subscribe to The Netrix, you can do so by going to www.thenetrix.com. It's my online streaming platform for magicians, and you can go and check it out and see what Little Fuss is about. And I know I shouldn't have said www. It's been a long day. I will see you again soon. Thanks for watching. My name's Craig, and this is Magic TV.